Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. I'm a 26-year-old mom of 2 girls, almost 27. Today in this video, I will be going over how I bag and store my oversupply of breast milk. This is all my oversupply for the past 4 days. I typically just combine all my milk together as long as none of them is bad. Freshly pumped breast milk is good in the fridge for up to 4 days, so none of them should be bad. But typically I would test it, like once I start combining them, I would try from each bottle or so to see if the milk is good or not. Some people don't like to try their milk, but I mean, you're giving it to your baby. How else are you gonna know, right? So I like to try my milk to make sure that it's not bad or it hasn't gone bad, so that I know that I can bag it and make sure that it's okay to combine with all the other ones, because on the 4th day you might be combining 3-day-old milk with the present day milk. You don't want to add milk that is going bad to milk that is freshly pumped day of. In order to store your milk, what you would need is your combining pitcher or bottle, whatever you prefer, whatever you have on hand that you can, sterilize and use to prep your milk. You're also going to need your storage bags. Good quality storage bag does matter. These will be stored in the freezer for up to 12 months. Some people do it for more. Guidelines recommend 6 to 12 months. So you want to get proper bags that are actually made to store breast milk in the freezer. So I have some Lancino storage bags here. You need some markers so you can date and label your bags. A scale is optional. You could do your portioning with the bottle instead of using a scale. Guidelines recommend not shaking your milk, just so you don't damage any nutrients. So best practice is to swirl. I mean, if you are a breastfeeding or breast pumping mom, you would know that your milk does tend to separate over like a couple hours for some people, especially if you have high fat content in your milk. So it will definitely separate. Like for example, this milk I pumped this morning. It is almost 3 p.m. and I pumped this morning, and you can already see the separation here of like the fore milk, the hind milk, and the fat. So you do generally want to swirl or give it a gentle shake just to make sure that everything is well combined. I just poured this. This is my first batch, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try the milk to make sure that it's not going bad. I did try the milk is not going bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue. If you remember, based on how you store it in the fridge for the 4 days, you can combine your milk in that order, just so that you're definitely 100% aware that that's the first pumped milk and it's good. So that way you don't have to try all the batches, but it's really just up to you. So as you can see here, this milk is completely separated. This milk is completely separated, and you do have to give it your gentle swirl, your gentle shake, just to ensure that it is all combined and you don't have clumps of fat, because that will just mess up your portioning. And you do also want to get all your fat, because that's a major part of the nutrients that the babies do need. Sometimes you might end up with a fat plug like this. So you might end up with a fat plug. Keep in mind the milk is still perfectly fine. As mentioned, it is just separation, just like any other milk. Breast milk does separate when it's stored. So you will get a fat plug like this. A lot of people like the aesthetic of pouring a fat plug and like hearing the sound and whatnot. I'm one of those people. So for this one, you don't have to shake it if you don't want to. That's where a good mixing pitcher comes in. comes in handy. And that is all fat. You do want to ensure that all the fat is nicely combined. Make sure you get all the fat. I portion 5-ounce bags. It's really up to you how much you want to portion. A lot of bags go up to about 6-7 ounces, depending on the bags that you use. So this is about 40 ounce. I'm just gonna stop here. I'm gonna attach my lid and we are going to mix to ensure that everything is combined. You're gonna put this off to the side. I'm gonna label and prepare my storage bags. So you do want to make sure that your hands are clean, your surface area is clean, and the containers and materials that you will be utilizing that will actually come in contact with your milk is also thoroughly cleaned. Hi, baby. I do like to store my breast milk by 5 ounces. So the bags do come with a label tag where you would insert the name, the date, the time, and the amount that you're storing. Personally, for me, I only utilize the date and the volume section. So to label it, I would just add the date, which is May 22nd. That's today's date. And the volume is 5 ounces. So this is what my storage bags typically look like. And then I would just do that for all the bags. This is a very tedious task. So it really is just up to you how you want to go about bagging your milk. It could get very tiring and you could actually feel burnt out just by doing this process alone. So I am going to reuse one of the bottles that I was storing the milk in to do my portioning. So this is a 5-ounce bottle, so there is a 5-ounce label. So you could do it like that as mentioned, or you could use a scale. So what I also like to do is I like to put back the extra milk that doesn't fit in the pitcher for this round. I like to put these back in my basket and put them back in the fridge. Personal preference, I like to just put it back in the fridge. When I was doing 4-ounce bags, it was just becoming too much for me. And I literally dreaded milk bagging day. That's pretty loud for a reason. So you just have to, you know, add your little zazz to it. Remove stuff that you don't feel is necessary for you. It's your process. You could create and like customize it however you want to your liking, just so that you have a good time and you have a great experience. You just want to make sure that everything is clean and the baby can actually consume the milk at the end of the day, right? So however you deem safe, whatever you deem safe, just do that. You don't need to do all the extra stuff that everybody else does. You just need to do the basic stuff and ensure that everything is clean and safe for consumption. These will be stored in the freezer for up to 1 year, up to 12 months. So just like anything else that gets stored in the freezer, breast milk can also develop freezer burn. So back to ensuring that you have proper bags, freezer safe bags, proper temperature control bags, and also you want to ensure that you remove all air from the bag to prevent freezer burn to your breast milk. So there's two ways you can ensure that you remove all the air from your storage bags. You can leave a small opening in the zipper and just force the air out like so. So you want to ensure that it's all gone. So now you have no air, only breast milk. No air bubbles, no nothing, just your breast milk. The second way you can ensure that there's no air in your bags is doing the countertop method. I used to do that when I just started my pumping journey. So in order to do that, you want to hold your bag and you're gonna place it against the countertop and just force the air out basically, or allow the counter to touch the milk, and that way it will literally force the air out of the bag. You can also use your hand to guide it just to make sure. And then you just zipper your bag. You just lock your bag and just like that, no air. I don't like doing that anymore. I feel like that takes a lot of time. That takes up a lot of time for me personally. So as previously mentioned, you want to add your own zazz to your process of bagging milk. Just so it's an enjoyable task for you as well. So I did run out of milk. I only have a 4 ounce left. I only have 4 ounces left. So I'm gonna go back to the fridge and bring out the rest of my milk and just refill the pitcher. Also, a third way that you can ensure that there's no milk in your storage bags to cause freezer burn is by ensuring as well, back to what I was saying about shaking your breast milk. You want to make sure you don't shake it too much where it forms too much air bubbles, because then when the air bubbles gets in the bag, it is hard to get rid of air bubbles. And then when those do pop over time, it will just leave a bunch of air pockets in the bag. So I'm just gonna go ahead and combine the remainder of my milk. I used to have about, I'm not a first time mom, but this is my first time pumping and breastfeeding. So this is all new to me as well. All this milk basically is from one tata. That's what I call it. I don't know if I'll get flagged or whatever, but all this milk that I'm bagging right now is basically from one tata. Hey, Bubba. I only nurse her right now, and while she's nursing, I will pump the opposite tata. Hey, baby. One of the major questions that I always get is, how did I end up with an oversupply? Personally, I just think my body is making up for the fact that it betrayed me in my first pregnancy and I wasn't able to breastfeed my first baby. So I just think that's why. Personally, I don't do anything extra. I don't take any supplements to maintain or to gain an oversupply. For the most part, I do drink Body Armor like once or twice a week. I do drink coconut water. If I have coconut water, I'm gonna drink the coconut water probably like 4 times a day, no cap. But sometimes I do go a long time without them. Like every now and then I would have some oatmeal. That's about it. I don't do anything to gain an oversupply or to maintain it. As long as you feed your baby, whatever you have that is left over is also considered an oversupply. A lot of people say, oh, they only pump this much or they only pump that much. It is totally okay unless you're really trying to create like a freezer stash, or if you're going back to work for whatever personal reason and you do want like extra milk, then I would say, like, you know, just get on a schedule, pump every day at a certain time, every 2-3 hours. And as I mentioned, you do not want your breastfeeding / pumping journey to be hard and dark. You don't want it to become another thing in your life that consumes you, because then it just defeats the purpose. It's supposed to be a happy moment. It's supposed to be something that you benefit from yourself. It's supposed to be rewarding. At the end of the day, you want to feel good. You want to feel blessed that you're able to create and produce this milk for your baby, and your baby is fed. There is a lot of cons to being an oversupplier. Trust me. I'm telling you. Just make it your own experience. Just find your own flow. But at the end of the day, you just want to ensure that your baby is fed and healthy, and you have a balanced mental state. Trust me, because a happy mama is a happy baby and a happy supply. Depending on where you are, whatever guidelines you follow, freshly pumped breast milk is good. Room temperature up to 4 hours, in the fridge 4 days, and in the freezer 6 to 12 months. And if you do take it from the freezer and it's completely thawed, then you have 24 hours to utilize that milk. And there's any ice crystals present in that bag, you could put it back in the freezer, and it is safe to be refreezed as long as there's ice crystals present. And once the milk is heated or removed from the fridge and fed to the baby, it is only good 2 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is 75 ounces of bagged breast milk. I am going to store them in here for a couple days so that they could freeze flat. This will be stored in the freezer as is until I'm ready to create my milk bricks. I do have a bit of knowledge from personal experience as well as professional experience. So if you have any questions, you could send me a quick message or you could drop it in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys gained some knowledge from this video.